Hello again, YouTube. Well, it's done. And isn't it lovely? So the major change has got to be the riding position. Now, if you compare this to the bike that I picked up, it's completely different. I mean, that bike that I picked up, even after the first video I put out, somebody did comment on the seat to bar drop because it was just mad. And like I say, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It was a time trial bike. Somebody set it up for time trials. I'm not doing, well, I might do a time trial or two on it, but my, major use case is going to be triathlon. So I'm going to be going slightly longer and want just a little bit more comfort. So yeah, somebody did comment on the seat to bar drop. As you can see, that's a lot less radical now. So the major changes I've made, really the big changes here at the front. We've gone from a stem which was kind of 7 degrees down to a stem that's 17 degrees up. This stem is also slightly longer. Now I've gone for a 90 stem on here, and there was a 70 stem on here before. So if you imagine, previously this base bar even would have been slightly closer to the steerer tube and down there somewhere. So you know, already you've gained a good sort of like 20-30 mil there. And also, you know, I've slightly stretched out the riding position. I think if you'd have bought this bike from Planet X back in the day, it probably would have come with 100 mil stem. So it's got a, you know, it's got a 90 on there at the moment. I do have a 110 mil stem in the 17 degree rise, ready to go on if I feel that I need it. I did try it with that stem, and to be honest with you, it felt a bit long. So I've gone back to the 90. I think that'll be pretty good. But you can also see that there's a big difference in the position of the armrests there. Now, when I picked the bike up, there was these stacks here. They had one 20 mil spacer and a 10 mil. So they were kind of 30 mil off the base bar. I've taken them to their maximum extension. So these, you can buy these spacers on eBay or AliExpress. Go for AliExpress if you can do with the weight, because they'll cost you like a tenner. They're double that from eBay. I just bought them from eBay because I got them quicker. So with these extensions on this Selkoff base bar, you can go to a maximum of 60 mil, which is 3 20 mil spacers, which is exactly what I've got in there now. To do that, you've got to order longer bolts, and I'll put some details in the description of the bolts that I ordered. So you need 100 millimeter socket head bolts to go in there, basically M5 100 millimeter bolts to go in there. So if I compare the height of the bars with the seat height, you can see they're practically on a plane now. And when I think back to my old Stealth time trial bike, that's almost exactly how that was set up. And you know what, I quite like that that extended bar height on there, that extended stack height on there. A couple of reasons for that. One, I actually think it looks pretty cool. And that's only because I've been watching Alex Dowsett building a time trial bike, and he's got massive stacks on his. So what works for Alex Dowsett's got to be good enough for the rest of us, right? So back at the front of the bike, shifting is now courtesy of Dura-Ace 11-speed bar end shifters. Now the rear mech, as you can see, you've got all of your index points like you would on a road shifter. So there's absolutely nothing different about adjusting the mech in conjunction with this lever that there would be with a road lever. However, the front is a little bit different. Cabling the front mech with these did have me scratching my head a little bit, and the reason for that is with this 105R7000 you do the adjustment on the front mech with the front mech lever in the first trim position. So basically what that means is on a road lever you'd sweep your big lever all the way fully extended, and then you'd take your little inner lever and you just give it a half click just to take the mech to the first trim position. Now with these there is no indexing on them. There's only one detent position, which is right at the bottom of its travel there. That's basically all of the tension off of the cable, and then basically you're into friction shifting through the rest of its travel. The solution that I came up with to adjust that front mech, and like I say, you know, I think this might be particular to 105R7000 where you've got the indexing marks on the mech body that you have to line up in that first trim position. Basically what I said is, you know, if you consider that that's fully slack, that's fully tight, well, take it fully tight, take your lever about a quarter of a way through the travel and call that your first trim position. And basically I adjusted the mech from there just as I would a road mech, and it's indexed fine. Now, I couldn't find anything on the Shimano website, I couldn't find any instructions anywhere, so I don't know if that's official guidance on how you adjust this. All I can say is it seems to have worked for me. Something else that's different on the bike, as you can see, is we now have these TRP carbon levers, brake levers on here. Like I say, I think the bike, if you'd have bought this bike back in the day, if you'd have bought a built one from Planet X, it would have come with these TRP carbons on here. It had a set of Tange, just Tange bar end brake levers on there, and to be fair, there was nothing wrong with them. I just prefer the look of these carbons. I actually think that these are probably just a little bit more aerodynamic as well, so quite how Mr. Superfast time trialer missed that trick, I don't know. But anyway, I just like the look of these, and I don't know, I think they hark back to the, you know, making the bike just a little bit more original. So we now have this lovely 2x Shimano 105R7000 drivetrain on here. So the whole drivetrain, front mech, cranks, rear mech cassette, but everything, basically every moving part is all Shimano 105R7000. The only part arguably that isn't is the chain, because I couldn't get an 11-speed Shimano chain, so I've gone for a SRAM chain, and they're quite interchangeable. I've never had a problem personally putting a SRAM train onto a Shimano drivetrain, so I'm sure that won't be any problem here. And there we go, as you can see, it's all indexed quite nicely, even the front mech. And while we're talking about drivetrain, I've got to talk about this token bottom bracket adapter. I absolutely love these things. The kit that I bought for this was about 50 quid, and it comes with everything that you need to convert that press fit PF 30 bottom bracket standard into, you know, Shimano Holotech for these 24mm standard Shimano cranks here. 50 quid, I mean, you can pay that just for a bottom bracket in its own right. And like I say, for this, you get the entire kit. They feel like really good quality. They just go in first time, no hassle at all, just absolutely love them. So yeah, if you've got a temperamental bottom bracket or a bottom bracket that you're struggling to convert, just go looking for a token kit, because I really can recommend these things. While I'm down here, as you can see, I have actually put the power meter on as well. So this is a second-hand 4i power meter. I am a bit of a Stages fan. I've got Stages on all my other bikes, but this one was cheap and the right size. And actually, the colour couldn't be a better match with the bike, to be fair. So yeah, that turned out to be quite a result. So there it is, the bike's built and I'm very happy with it. Having just slung a leg over it on the turbo last weekend to do that initial fit on it, I've got to say it feels there or thereabouts already. So I think, you know, what I need is just a little bit more fine tuning on it. It feels very good indeed to have a time trial bike again. And it feels even better that I've kind of pseudo built one, I guess, you know, because I took a bike that was built essentially for somebody else or built into somebody else's spec, and I've built it into my spec, and that just feels good. It also feels good to kind of have saved a bike. You know, this had no front mech hanger on it. Everything was covered in black tape. It was, like I say, it was a weapon for somebody's specific use case, and that wasn't my use case. And it just feels good to have taken that bike, you know, have found a front mech hanger for it, which I thought was going to be rocking horse put, but I found one. To have reinstated this 2x drivetrain on it, to now have 11 speed 105 R7000 on a time trial bike. And you know, even things like scoring that set of American Classic wheels on it, like I said in the intro, I think they've probably only got 2 seasons in them, but you know, they'll get me rolling on it, and they look and feel great actually. So yeah, there we go. So the next video is going to be a bike fit on it. I'm going to use the BFF app, so that video is actually going to be as much a review of the BFF app, which I say has come a long way since I first downloaded it. It's as much going to be a review of that as it is a fit on the bike, and then I'm going to be out riding it. One of the last jobs I'm going to do to this over the weekend is I am going to wax the chain. I've got a wax chain on my Pro Carbon Evo, and that's my summer bike. And this effectively is going to be another summer bike. This is going to be a high days and holidays bike. It's going to be a race bike. You know, hopefully I won't be racing too many wet races, but you never know. Thing is though, with a wax chain, you know, if you only do the occasional 1 or 2 wet races on it, you dry it off straight afterwards, you're fine. I think you only really get a problem with them if you try and run them through winter or run them through a lot of inclement weather and you don't look after them, in which case you get sort of a bit of flash rusting on them. So hopefully there's going to be none of that. So yeah, there is going to be a wax chain on there. There is another cassette coming to go onto this as well. For some reason, I don't know why, I spec'd a 1134 when I bought the cassette from Merlin. Not really right for this type of bike, so I've got an 1128 en route to me as we speak. So actually when I start riding this, it's going to be 1128. That 1134 is going to go onto the road bike because I like to do quite a bit of climbing on the road bike, so that's going to go on there. And the 1132 that I've got on that bike is going to go on a direct drive turbo trainer that I've bought so that I can actually train in the TT position on Zwift on this bike. So you know, when it's cats and dogs outside, I can at least be inside and get in some time on the bars and just in the position. So yeah, there you go, Project Greyhound. She's complete. So it's now down to me, I think, just to get the position dialed in, to get me dialed into this position, and to get out and doing some fast times on it. Catch you in the next one, YouTube.